Hello, 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 Stampin' friends. How is everyone today? Woo, I am so happy that you guys are joining me this evening. I am Caron Bailey. I am your independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. And we are in the craft room tonight for a Thursday night Chat and Catty session. What is Chat and Catty, guys? This is where we case the annual catalog, or a catalog. We may also case one of our online exclusive products. But tonight we are casing the outgoing annual catalog. This catalog expires in the next couple of weeks, in the next week and a half. On May 6th, we will no longer be using this catalog unless items have carried over into the current catalog. Just a couple of updates, lots of changes. It's been a while since I've come to you live. Some stuff has been happening, whatever. I won't bore you with all of that. But we no longer have host codes. When you shop in my online store, everyone earns Stampin' Rewards when you place a minimum order of $20. Every order $20 or more earns 10% in Stampin' Rewards that you can redeem the following month, okay? Or you can just let it ride and let it stack up and redeem it at some later date or some point. That's for you to decide. What's happening this week, you guys, for one more day, from the 23rd to the 25th, 3 days of free shipping. So on orders of $75 or more, you will earn free shipping on your orders. Typically with Stampin' Up, minimum is $7.95. Once you hit, I believe it's a $75 order, your shipping is 11% in the US, 11% of the your total cost pre-tax. Okay, so give me just 1 minute. Let me check and make sure. If you are joining me, let me know if the lighting is good. I'm trying something new. Let me know if you can hear me okay, before we get started on the projects. Hold on, let me just turn this. I gotta check and see if I'm live. I like to always see what you guys are seeing. That way, if there's a problem, I can try to get on it right away. All right, give me just a moment. All right, how is everyone's day today? If you're watching the replay, this video went live on March 24th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Give me 1 second. I don't know where all my stuff is. Hold on. All right, so let's see. Let me make sure that I can see what you guys are seeing. PM Central Standard. All right. Okay, so again, we are casing the annual catalog, and we are casing the Tune-In bundle on page 67. Guys, I picked this. I had another stamp set in mind. I couldn't lay my hands on it when I got home, so this was a fly seat of my pants kind of thing. So Tune-In bundle, I looked online. We have, as a bundle, the French version is available only as a bundle. You can get the dies. Dies, of course, does not come in any language. So if you're interested in purchasing any part of this set, you would be, if you're in English, it's available to you in the dies. You can buy the set, the bundle, however, and then utilize another stamp set for your sentiments and so on. I see that someone has joined me. Please let me know who you are when you're joining me. When you interact with me on the video, it helps. with the YouTube analytics to make sure more people are able to find us, find my channel in the future. All right, so if you interact with me, I have a giveaway tonight. This is a duplicate. This is a Granny Apple Green ink pad. It is a, for whatever reason, I have a duplicate set. Interact with me, share this video, like this video, and if you are not a subscriber, subscribe to my video. And you link and you type in the comments hashtag share, hashtag like, and or hashtag subscribed, and you will be entered into the drawing to win this Granny Apple Green ink pad tonight. All right, so the stamp set is the tune-in bundle. It is on the last chance items. So that means it's not carrying over into the annual catalog. I'm going to case the projects themselves. I think I'm going to change up the colors. Not sure where I'm going to land as far as colors is concerned, but I'm definitely going to try to complete all of these cards this evening. All right, so let's get started. And I think we're going to start with this one first and see if we can get this guy done, okay? All right, so I've taken the liberty and done some of them, some pre-cutting, pre-sorting on some of them. I didn't quite get it all, right? I did not. So I've already gone ahead and I've stamped this out and I've die cut it. I'm gonna use the designer series paper that I'm gonna use is from the 2023 to 2025 in color designer series paper. This is also retiring. This is the set of colors that will be retiring when this old catalog retires in May. And those colors are boho blue, copper clay, moody mauve, pebbled path, and wild wheat. If you like any of these colors and they are in your wheelhouse, please don't delay. They will probably end up going fast. Okay, so just as a reminder, once they're gone, they're gone. Okay, all right, so I decided for this one that I'm gonna go with copper clay. No, was that right? No. Hold on. I think I was going to go with my moody mauve on this one. 5 1/4. So this is 4 by 5 1/4 is my designer series paper. I'm gonna use I think I'm gonna use my pebbled path as my card base on this one. And that's going to be A2 size at 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. I know I cut that. Where did it go? Alrighty. Oh, there it is. So this is our card base, and that's our color combination for this card, okay? So I'm going to grab my my markers, my alcohol, my Stampin' blends, and I'm going to color this in my TV. And I'm going to go with let's go with wild wheat. I don't know why I'm going with wild wheat, but I'm going to go with wild wheat. I think I'm just wanting to play with the in colors while they're still in colors. Yeah. And before I move on, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp my sentiment. It's on the inside. You're super. Let's go ahead and if you guys know anything about me, you know I love my Versamark as my ink pad of choice. and I like to heat emboss. So before you, I went ahead for the die cut image. I had stamped and die cut it already. So now I'm going to, I need to put my head over just a little bit, make sure it's straight. I hope it's straight. So while we're doing this, you know, sometimes it's easier when you're stamping. You get your head right over it. That way you know you're spot on with straight. But when when we're shooting videos, it's not quite as easy to keep your head out of the shot, right? So sometimes I expect, even though generally I don't do anything straight, it's even worse when I'm on camera that I can't get anything straight. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and heat emboss this. And I do double emboss. Maybe I won't this time. Okay. I'm going to just go ahead and make sure we chase the powder. So as we chase the powder, we can see when it's melting. And then that's how we'll know it's finished. Perfect. All right. Now we're going to do a little bit of coloring. Now, because of what it is we're coloring, we generally don't have to worry about highlighting and shading and blending and all that kind of stuff, but I do that anyway. So I'm going to color with my light and dark stamping blends. Okay. So I'm going to just go ahead and start with my dark. Again, the colors may not make a lot of sense, you guys. I just really want to utilize the outgoing in colors as much as I can. Y'all know I'm not one of those demonstrators that I get rid of my colors, so I generally will continue to utilize my colors, maybe not as much, because I do want to play with the new colors, right? If you are one of my Stampin' Up customers, and you were on my VIP, that means you should be getting, if you have not already received, your 2025 to 2027 catalog. If you are and you have, let me know. If you don't have a demonstrator and would like to have one to assist you with your Stampin' Up needs, I would be more than happy to serve in that capacity for you. If not, and you already have a demonstrator, that's fine too. I just appreciate that you spend a moment and you're taking your time to watch me as I create for you. So this is just a little rough coloring. It's not anything perfect. Okay, just give that a little bit of color. And then we're going to grab, I think I said we were going to use the Moody Mauve. And I'm going to, the image has this side. I'm going to change it a little bit. I think I want to, I'm not going to use the pebbled path on that one. I'm going to go with either smoky slate. Yeah, I'm going to go with a light smoky slate. Oh, I need to get another smoky slate. My color is gone. Well, I guess I'll be making an order before the free shipping ends so I can get some smoky slate. So just take a little bit longer, that's all. Unfortunately, we cannot re-ink our Stampin' blends once they're run out or they're dry. You have to order another pair. They're not available as refillable. So we'll have to go ahead and do that. Okay, so that's all we're going to do with this one. Got as much of this out as we can. And then I've got to go make a note to order that replacement. All right, so we've got this part done. We're going to grab this guy and we're going to grab our TV image. And we're going to do a little tone on tone stamping. You guys know what tone on tone stamping is, correct? Tone on tone stamping is where you stamp with the same color. You'll still be able to see it, I hope. Right? And then we're just going to randomly stamp all over this guy. See? And we're stamping on a glass mat, so we're going to be able to clean this up later. We're going to let me put that there. Let me grab my TV antenna. I'm going to grab the antenna because I want to make sure I don't overshoot. Where they should be, right? Okay, I'm going to have to stand up a little bit here so I can see what I'm doing. A little off there. Do you see how that's going to determine where our last TV goes? Okay. So that's tone on tone stamping. Anytime you stamp with the same color on on the same color, that's called tone on tone stamping. All right, so here's what we've got so far. We have got our designer series paper. We've got our TV. And let's start this part. We're going to have to do a little bit more die cutting. I can see that. All right. But let's get this part all set first. All right. And as we can see, we are little cattywampus here. And that's on purpose. So when I looked at the image in the catalog, I could see that it was not a standard A2 size. It seemed like it was a mini. It seemed like it was a mini slim line size. I chose not to do it as a mini slim line, but to do it as a regular A2 card. So my card sizes are a little bit different. Again, I went with a standard A2 base which is 8.5 by 11. I'm sorry, 8.5 by 5.5, and scored at 4.25. And so the designer series paper that I use, I cut at 4 by 5.25, just a 1/4 inch smaller. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to add this on. And we're going to add it on a little cattywampus. I don't know who told me that term. Somebody's mentioned it to me, and I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean, cattywampus, right? So it's a little off center. All right. Doesn't have to be a lot. However much you choose to do it. Completely up to you. And then we're going to trim our edges. All right, so that part is finished. I grab my glue snips. I have a pair of scissors that I use just for adhesive, okay? Then we're going to cut that off. I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to trim it off here. And lastly, here. Okay, that's done. Put our little scraps in the bin. And again, I just wanted to make sure that I was utilizing the in colors, right? So this would make a great masculine card, right? The colors themselves lend to being a masculine card. So I'm going to pop this up. I'm going to use some foam tape. I do use dimensionals, you guys. I tend to use dimensionals on smaller projects, just because the amount of dimensionals that I tend to use on projects. So I do use dimensionals. I love our dimensionals. Because of the quantity that I use, I don't use it as much on my bigger pieces. And that's going to go right in the middle. Okay. All right. Grab my Take Your Pick tool. Remove our release paper. Don't forget to comment that you've liked and shared the video for a chance to win our one of our Granny Apple Green ink pads. Okay, that seemed to be straight. So that's going to go there. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a piece of basic white for our sentiment. And the sentiment, let me go ahead and clean this off. I'm going to configure my workspace just so that I give myself more than 5 inches of workspace. Do you guys do that at all? It's ridiculous, isn't it? So a couple things I'm going to do here is I need a newsflash, and then I'm going to need to die cut some other things. So newsflash. I'm going to clean this off, and we're going to do this in black. Okay, go ahead and condition your stamp a little bit. Okay. Okay, we're going to stamp Newsflash. We're going to stamp our antenna. And I think we need our little flashes, right? And we're going to stamp our flash. Let's get these stamped out first. And we're going to stamp these in, what color are we going to go with these? We're going to stick with Wild Wheat. Wild Wheat is one of my favorite of the retiring colors. It reminds me, it's one of our, I use it a lot as earth tones for my stems, my leaves, that kind of stuff. Sand, gravel. But again, as much as possible tonight, I am trying to stay within the in colors. All right, so let's go ahead and heat set these. Now I heat set them for a couple of reasons. My sentiments I always do, but when I'm going to color with my alcohol markers and I use my VersaFine, I heat set them because VersaFine pigment inks take a little bit, they take a while to dry, a little bit longer. So to make sure that I don't, when I start to color, that the ink doesn't bleed, I go ahead and I heat set. You can heat set without adding embossing powder. I choose to always add embossing powder as well. Okay. I'm going to chase our powder. And we're going to color our antenna in. Guys, there are dies in the set for everything here except the sentiment, but I'm going to fussy cut, okay? I enjoy fussy cutting, especially simpler images. I do enjoy fussy cutting. Do you like fussy cutting at all? I enjoy fussy cutting. I didn't at first, but then I kind of, that trick that I learned, because when I first started fussy cutting, man, my cuts were going all over the place. They were. But then I kind of learned the tip that when you're fussy cutting, the thing to do is to move your turn your, because I was trying to turn the scissors and all that kind of stuff. But the trick to fussy cutting and being relatively consistent when you're cut is to turn the cardstock and not the scissors, okay? And I find that I relatively can maintain the same border around my image. I don't know why, that's just how it works. And then once you find something that works, you kind of stick with it, right? Okay. This is going to go on top of that. And then I'll grab my little trimmer here. So I can trim my sentiment out. Now this little tiny trimmer is not available. This was, I think a couple seasons ago, this was an option for you when you joined Stampin' Up. You were able to purchase this, or to get this as a gift, or as an add-on. It was an incentive when you joined Stampin' Up. Okay. I'm going to leave it. And then there are dies for this. Might be easier just to use a die in this instance, right? Instead of cutting it 3 times. So let's bring in our mini die cutting machine. Get this all lined up here. Like so. Grab a piece of tape. Now I use the Post-it Label It cover-up tape. Try to de-stickify it a little bit. Bring in the trimmer, the die cutting machine. Grab my plates. And get this die. Oh, it shifted a lot. Hold on. Let's put this back in here real quick. And run it through the machine. Okay. All right, so we'll be done with card number 1 very shortly. I'm going to put that back in there. Grab these. Put these out of the way. All right. Now, I am going to, I'm just going to grab the Moody Mauve Stampin' Blend, but I'm going to grab the dark, and I'm just going to I'm going to border my sentiment. Okay? And all I do is I take the tip, and it just looks like it will kind of just give it a look as if you've matted your cardstock. All right. Let's get this show on the road here. All right.
Grab us some dimensionals.
You just have to be very careful because you don't need any dimensional on this side. Okay. And then we're going to pop one on each of these. This is where we're going to have to get a little creative. And all of this is usable materials, guys. Do not throw out your edges. It's all usable material, okay? Okay, got this one on there. Like so. No, it's not ready yet. And then we need a little piece on right there. Oh. All right, so now let's go ahead and get this set up and our first card will be finished. And if you wanted to, which I do, you can just add a little bit of adhesive right there. Okay. All right. Now, let's go ahead and add our newsflash, our lightning bolts. There's one. There's two. And the last. Now guys, because this is a darker colored cardstock on the inside, I would go ahead and I would add a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. Matter of fact, let's get that done. I have a lot of my cardstock that's pre-cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So when I'm using, I need it for the inside, I do need to trim it down 1/4 inch on each side. I tend to do most of it as And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut just a little strip of this one, the Moody Mauve. Should be about 2 inches. So I'm going to cut about a 1/2 inch. I don't need for it to be too big. Grab my adhesive. Add a little strip right here. Okay. And just in case we didn't add enough, I'm going to finish it out. Okay. Trim that off. I'm excited for Creativate this weekend. Has anyone signed up for Creativate with Connie, Stewart, Brandy Cox, Sharon Armstrong, and Jackie Bullheist this weekend? All right, guys, so card number 1 is complete. Here we go. And we'll move on to card number 2. Okay? And we'll bring them all back in a little bit so you can see the cards. All right, so the next one we're going to work on is this guy right here. Okay? Oh, wait. Nope. Not quite finished just yet. This guy belongs right on top of that. Sorry. Went ahead and did all of it and forgot to put it on there. Yeah. You don't want to do that. You want it to be on there. Now, I'm going to go back after and add just a small little pieces of dimensionals, because if you don't anchor these, what will end up happening is that if it goes through the mail, it'll probably just get ripped right off, and we don't want that. Okay, but we'll do that in just a little bit. All right, so the next card we're going to work on is, we should work on that one because that seems to be a little bit faster. Right? So let's go ahead and grab a piece of basic white cardstock. And we're going to cut our basic white cardstock. I think I'm going to do 3 3/4. Yeah, 3 3/4 by, let's go 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. It doesn't look like a square, you think? Let's make it a square. Let's go 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Let's make it a square. All right. And we're just going to grab our stamp. Again with our black ink. And we're we're going to stamp it in the center. Try to center it as much as possible. And we'll probably end up trimming some of this off. So we started with a piece that was 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. I am probably going to trim it down, but that's okay. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Okay. It's always best to start somewhere than to not start any. Oh, wait a minute. Than to not start anywhere at all. All right. I knew something wasn't right here, guys. I've already cut that part out. Oh no, we're doing that one. Huh. Okay. I need my ink or my embossing powder. Put this back in its tray. Now again, I am coloring with alcohol markers, so I do have to make sure that my ink is set. And again, you do not have to use embossing powder to heat set this. I just prefer to have the shine that comes along with when you heat emboss a project. Okay. So I will do the drawing to determine who wins the Granny Apple Green ink pad. I will do the drawing on Saturday. So if you are watching the replay, you do have an opportunity to like, share, and subscribe. And then when you do, hit enter hashtag share, hashtag like, anything of that nature to let me know that you are eligible to win the okay. So now let's grab
The Granny Apple Green ink pad.
Sorry, I got distracted for a second. So we're going to color the legs, and we're going to make the legs in Pebbled Path. It is, again, one of the 2023 to 2025 in colors. And it will be retiring when the 2024 to 2025 catalog retires. Okay? And then I'm going to use, let's go with copper clay for our TV. So let's do that. You know, we don't ever see TVs this color, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right. I went ahead with the Moody Mauve as our liner. And then I'm going to color the rest of it in copper clay. I'm going to go with the light. I don't want it too dark, so I'm going to go with the light copper clay. And guys, in case you're not familiar, you can achieve you can achieve shading, not drastic shading, with just using one, either the light or the dark or either one, but you can do subtle shading with just using either the light or the dark. You don't have to use both. Now, in order to achieve that, what you would end up doing is lay down your first layer of color, let it dry, and then go back over it with the same color where you want to achieve that bit of shading. And you will see that you have. And I'll show you a little bit just to show you how it's done. I'll let it dry. And then I'm going to do a little bit of shading. Okay. So I'm going to let that dry completely. While that's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp the sentiment that's on there, which is stay tuned for an important message. And then I'm going to trim it down because this is a little bit, looks crooked. In case you don't know, again, I personally generally have a challenging time with keeping things lined up and keeping them straight. I own that from the very beginning. It's just difficult for me. Even with a ruler, I can't draw a straight line. Absolutely honest to God's truth. All right. I got a T-ruler the other day, and I'm going to figure out how to use it. And hopefully, with using the T-ruler, I'll be able to figure out how to keep things a little bit straight. All right. Again, we're going to use our clear embossing powder. And this time I'm going to try to double emboss on here. Double or triple, I'm not sure about that. Either double or triple I'm going to do. I learned the trick about double and triple heat embossing from one of our Creative 8s. I've been doing Creative 8 with Connie. Connie Stewart is my, what we call in our industry, she's my upline. So I do tend to participate in her activities. Okay, so there's this. And now I was telling you about, so I'm going back in with the same light embossing, the light what is this thing called? Stampin' Bling. And I just want to add a little bit of, I'm going to say that the sun is coming in this way. So if the sun's coming in this way, this is going to be our darker side. So I'm just going to, do you see already that it looks a little bit darker? Just adding that little bit of color. So I'm going to just like add a little bit of extra color down here. Just to kind of give some sort of directional as to where I think the sun is coming in for my shading. Okay, and that's it. Now, can you see the difference where I've added the shading a little bit on here? All right, good. I want my knobs to shine a little bit, so I'm going to put some Wink of Stella on there. And then just do that. Let it shine. There we go. All right, so that part's done. And so now what I'm going to end up doing is grab the stars on this one, because this is what we need. So let's trim this down just a tad, okay? I think my sides are fine. So this was 3 3/4. So I'm going to take this down to maybe about a 3 1/2. And what I do on each side, I do the same thing on each side so the image is it's even. So if I take a 1/4 inch from that side, I'm going to take a 1/4 inch from that side. And then I have more to take from that side. I want this to be shorter. So I'm going to take off, this is 3 1/2 here. So I took a 1/4 inch off there. So I'm going to take another 1/4 inch. No. Let's take this down to 3. So now my final piece is 3 1/2 by 3, right? 3 1/2 by 3. That's kind of what I went with. Now I'm going to grab a piece of, did I bring it over here? I did not. Let's grab a piece of, I did not grab my, what's that color I'm looking for? Wild wheat. I do need a piece of wild wheat, y'all. Hold on, let me go grab that. I'm grabbing a piece of wild wheat. I don't think they're, oh, all right. So I'm going to put the wild wheat, I'm going to put this on a piece that's 4, maybe 3 3/4 by 4. Definitely going to be 4. It's usually 4 by 5 1/4, but I don't want to do that. I think I want to do, let's go 5. So I went 4 by 5. Okay. Now, guys, if you guys are seeing what I'm doing here, when you get your catalog, you will see that there are no measurements in there. So if you are going to case the catalog, you're kind of going to have to eyeball your measurements and see what works for you. And then if you like the outcome, just keep note of the measurements, and there you have a template that you can use on future designs. Okay. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to randomly stamp these star images. And by random, when I do random, I just turn the cardstock. And you don't have to so much worry about the inside. Okay. You don't really have to worry about the inside because this guy, I might even change my layout a little bit because I like that. Right? And then on a piece of basic white scrap, if I can find some scrap. There we go. I'm just going to stamp some stars. All right. So guys, I started last month a stamp camp. And last month we featured the wildflower designs stamp set for the month. We are starting a new catalog next month, so I'm thinking that for next month I want to play with the Pretty Florals bundle. Okay, this is an item that's in the new catalog, Pretty Florals bundle. Stamp Camp is a virtual activity, means it's online. Once you register for the class, it is a $20 fee to register, and that $20 gets you access to our Zoom, an invitation, and a seat in our Zoom class. It gives you your card kit where you can make 3 cards with envelopes. Registration opens the first week of the month. It opens and closes the first week of the month. Based upon registration, I then order supplies. The class is free if you with the purchase of the product or any minimum $20 order on my website. You do get access to the class. You must register regardless for the class. That way it lets me know if I need to send kits and to whom, and so on and so forth. Okay? Our virtual stamp camp is held the 3rd Sunday of the month, 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Sorry, 11:30 I think is 11:30 is the start time. Sorry. There is a die for this piece that I'm die cutting. It just seems like it was faster for me to do it this way. Okay. And then I try to be very respectful of your time. And I try not to be more than an hour, which I'm going a little bit over tonight. The first Sunday of the month, I'm getting back to roll of the die. Matter of fact, I am going to roll the die tonight. That way you can see the what I need to start creating with. All right, let's go. Where are my dimensionals here? So I need this again. Grab these. Let's go that one. I need a bigger piece there. And I need this one. Okay. That's one. That's two. And that's three. As always, we try to do 3 cards. Doesn't always work out within the time limit that I've set for myself. So we will just do our 2 cards tonight. All right, so let's see. We got our large star down here. We got our baby star next to it. Where did my other star go? There it is. A baby star. All right. And then the medium star goes up here. There you go. All right, so what we're going to end up doing now is I'm going to finish this card up by placing some more dimensionals on the back of that, or some foam squares. I like my dimensionals to cover a big area, and only because for me, when I'm creating, when I put this in the mail, I don't want there to ever be this little sinkhole that you see right there. That would drive me absolutely bonkers, and so I do end up using quite a bit. Okay. And then I'm just going to grab a piece of basic white cardstock that's already cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Guys, let me thank you for joining me this evening. I know I have been MIA for a little bit. Between ridiculous allergies here in Texas, plus some other things going on, it just was challenging for me to be able to come see you regularly. But I'm working through some issues, and I will be back. Like I said, I'll be back again. Normally tomorrow I would be doing our paper pumpkin kit together, but with the changeover, Stampin' Up, now you can get your, there was a changeover that happened with paper pumpkin, and normally I would have received my paper pumpkin kit the third week of the month. That's generally when I've received mine. But for whatever reason, I just got a shipment notice today, so I won't have my paper pumpkin in time for tomorrow when I normally would be doing our paper pumpkin kit together. So stay tuned. I'm going to try to watch it, engage it, and see if, you know, because of the change, if that just means there's a shift in when I will be getting it, and I may end up having to adjust our kit togethers based upon when I'm going to be receiving my paper pumpkin kit. I'm excited for this one. All right. All right, so here we go. We're just going to go ahead and align this as straight as I can. Yep. And there you go. We are finished with casing our catalog tonight. All right, guys, this is our cards that we created tonight from casing our catalog. Cards number 1 and 2. We weren't able to get to card number 3 within our allotted time frame. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our my YouTube channel. And again, the giveaway for tonight, but you must comment that you have liked, shared, and if you are a new subscriber, that you have subscribed to my channel. And I will do a drawing on Saturday. Check back here or on my Facebook group, and you will see the winner of the Granny Apple Green ink. I know you have your choice of crafter or creative artist to watch. I appreciate that you have spent some time with me. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And invite some of your friends to join us regularly as we create here in the craft room. On that note, you guys, I am